Hey folks, it's Tom, your Frugal Prepper. So, I got this generator off a Facebook Marketplace for 50 bucks. I was really interested in it because it's very, very similar to my other generator that has just been a real trooper. It has the same size, 2.8 liter engine, same carburetor setup, even the generator head looks the same, but the way they put these little bolts in here that tend to strip out if you ever take the generator head apart. The guy that sold it to me said he bought it before COVID-19. He ran it one time, and then he put it in his barn for the next 5 years or whatever, and never ran it again. And it doesn't start now. It has 0.3 of an hour on it, is all it has on it. So it's practically new. It just has bad fuel in it. This one says it does 1,000 watts, 1350 surge, 3,600 RPM, you know, all this stuff. Now, my other generator will run a lot more than the 1,000 watts it's rated for. It'll be interesting to see if this one will too. Has some plugs. The plugs are a 20 ampere on this. They have the little sideways thing. A 12 volt circuit breaker, an on off switch, some DC charging ports, which I think those are about 8 amps normally on these. And it has a voltmeter. So it looks pretty good. Yeah, we have the same air filter. The muffler on this one is different, so I don't know if it will be as quiet, but it has this like cylinder kind of muffler where mine has a more flat kind of muffler. So we'll have to see on that. Has a little spark arrestor on it, but it's got a lot of cobwebs, but it looks pretty good. So we're just gonna take a look at it and see what we think. I think this is gonna just be needing to clean up the fuel system, and it will probably run again. So this is the first time I've looked at the gas tank. It has a little rust around here, but down inside the tank it doesn't look too bad, honestly. It smells like some old stale fuel. Smells kind of turpentine-y, but there is not a lot of rust in it. There's a lot of dirt, but not a lot of rust. So that's good. That's one positive. I won't have to get another fuel tank. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a pull and just see if it has any compression. We'll go ahead. Choke's off right now. Fuel's off too, and that is probably good. Engine feels like it has good compression. The fuel line is cracked. It's routed away. Mine routed away too. We'll have to replace that. And we'll take the carb out and see what we see. We'll drain the fuel, get the carb out. So we're going to start just by removing this fuel line right here. That's pretty stuck on there. And if I remember right, mine was pretty stuck on there too. We'll go ahead and just cut it here. Now the fact that the fuel was turned off means he might have ran this dry, which would be good if the carburetor has been stored dry. we're just gonna go ahead and pry this little piece of fuel line off of here. There we go. Alright. Now I have some fuel line down here, but it may be too small. I may have to go up to the garage and get some larger stuff. Alright, so I got a little piece of fuel line here that hopefully will work. I don't really have any of the right size for this. I'll have to go get some. Let's see if we open this up, what comes out. Do I have to tilt it? Yeah. That's enough to get a sample. Yeah, she looks kind of cloudy. She's full of water too, I think. And she smells pretty bad. But I'll go ahead and get the fuel out from the top, as much of it as I can, and then we'll move on. We'll try. It's pretty empty already. I'll see if I can suck any of it out of it with this. I got a little bit out, but the rest of it we're just going to have to drain out slowly. What I'm going to go ahead and do is take this tank off, and then we'll get it drained that way. Alright. This has got something over the front of it there, so we'll have to take that off before we can take the tank off. And this one is wrench. We'll go ahead and put this in there, and then we'll turn it around and look. And so it looks like this control panel covers part of the tank, so we'll have to drop that forward. Okay, now let's move this down and we'll take these bolts out. I dropped the nut on that one somewhere. So now this tank come up and off. Now I know this has a filter that goes up right here, so it does not allow it to drain like every last drop of fuel out of that tank. I'm thinking if I remove this petcock, then I can just drain it. So we'll go ahead and try that. Oh yeah, it fits. I think this is actually a 14, but a 9/16 works. It has that fuel filter, and that screws all the way up into the tank, so it won't let all the fuel out of it. So now we should be ready to drain it. All right, that's pretty much all of it I can get drained out, I guess. So let me put this back in here first. Then we'll take and fill this up with some good gas. Not all the way, but here we go. Now we'll take and we'll just splash that gas around in here for a little bit. Alright, now we're going to look down in here. Oh yeah, that looks perfectly clean. Alright. Now we'll go ahead and put this back in. Now, move this. I think what we're going to go ahead and do is take the carburetor off and just look at that and clean it up a little bit. So we just got to take the screws out here. These can sometimes be hard to get off and on because they're right on the corner. They can be a little tricky, especially putting them on. That looks good. Air filter looks good. And we have this thing right here that goes under. And now we just have these two bolts right here to take off. So we'll go ahead and take these two bolts out. This one out. Okay. Now we'll take our air cleaner box off. And this has a tube. Runs into it there. There we go. And now our carburetor is loose. What we have to do is take our retaining spring loose. Here first. Okay, that's loose. We won't have to get this out. Come on. We might have to take the carburetor off first. Yeah, it's about ready to come out of there. Just don't want to. There, okay. It's just a little tight fitting in there. Okay. So, this carburetor looks really clean on the outside. Like it don't have any runtime on it at all. So now I'll go ahead and make some room here, and we'll tear this carburetor apart, and I'll get the other camera. Alright, so I guess we can go ahead and start by getting this fuel line off of here. I'll take that off. We can go ahead and see if there's any fuel in this bowl. Oh, yeah, some fuel dumped out of it. So this must have had some fuel in it, even though the fuel was shut off. He probably shut it off just before he sold it to me, and it smells like old rotten fuel. So we'll have to see. Now we're gonna take this off. That was loose, so somebody's been in here and tried to get it started, I do believe. Yeah, that was all loose too, but it looks pretty clean in here. I mean, it does not look bad, as you can see. This looks pretty clean. This all looks really clean. So I don't know. We'll go ahead and take our float off. There. And our needle's out. And now we're going to go ahead and attempt to remove these jets. So that emulsion tube and jet must be permanently up in there. It's like pressed in. Yep. So we're just going to go ahead and clean it real good. This is our idle control screw, so we're going to take that out, which you don't really need to have this idle control screw, because generators come off of idle right to 3600 RPM with the governor, but we'll leave it on there. And then we have to take this pilot jet out right here. And that's about it. I'm not going to bother to take the throttle or the choke out. They look perfectly clean. I'm just going to get down in here and spray it and clean it out real good. Alright, so what I use is I have this little set of brushes to clean things out. I have a big brush. I have some torch tip cleaners and some other little tiny like torch tip cleaners that have a bunch of little tiny pieces in them, and I find those are perfect for cleaning carburetors. So what we're going to do is, I like to use throttle body cleaner. I think it works better than carb clean, but you can use carb clean, probably brake clean or whatever you want. Just get them cleaned out. So I'll put the little straw in here, and then basically all we got to do is, we see a couple of little passages here. We want to make sure those are clean. This one back in here, make sure that's clean. We'll spray up here in our emulsion tube, and you see that comes out this one. We'll spray here through our fill vent, and we'll just make sure this is all clean. Alright, so we'll go ahead and spray this out too. But it looks perfect. Now, we'll take our pilot jet here. This should have a really, really tiny hole. I mean, I really can't even see it. It's so tiny. We'll try our smallest torch tip cleaner in this one. This little engine has a really tiny pilot jet. And really, even my tiniest one will not go in there and clean that. We'll go ahead and give it a little spray. That comes in this little hole on the side to the bottom. So we'll make sure that's cleaned, and that is, and the bottom we just can't get up in there, it's too tiny. We'll use our tiniest one. Nope. But that's okay. I saw the cleaner squirt out the bottom of it when I sprayed it in the side. So that looks okay. This is our main jet right here. We're gonna, that seems okay too. We'll go ahead and just clean that out. We'll use a little bigger one. A little smaller one than that. Okay, so that's good and clean. That's clean. I'll just take and make sure all these look like they're clean. They're clear. I'm not even gonna mess with those. And for the emulsion tube, I'll just stick this up here, kind of scrape out the inside of it, and we'll hope for the best. It doesn't remove on this one. A lot of them have a main jet you take out of the bottom and then you just tap the emulsion tube out. But this one does not remove. We'll go with a little bigger one. Let's see if I got a little brush that'll fit up in there. No. Oh yeah, there it goes. We'll make sure that's cleaned out. We'll go ahead and spray it. I think that's good. I think this carburetor would have ran with fresh gas. I don't think anything was plugged up or nasty on it. It was just a little bit varnishy in the fuel bowl, but not bad. So we'll go ahead and put her back together here now. We'll go ahead and clean this top off a little. We'll go ahead and clean our pilot hole. Make sure that's good. Now we'll put our pilot jet back down in here. Be careful, don't cross thread it. The threads on this are really kind of sensitive because they're brass, so if it don't go in, you gotta keep playing with it till it goes in. Alright, there's our pilot jet. Now we'll put our idle screw, which just doesn't really need it, but it's in here. So we'll just turn it just so it starts to peek out the other side a little bit. Maybe. Let me get it in here. Let me get it in. Okay. Now we're just going to take and we're just going to turn this just so it starts to peek out the other side a little bit. Make sure it's all the way through so it doesn't come back out. But that's really all it needs to go in there. But see, normally that holds your throttle open, so it'll idle at a certain rate. But generators automatically increase their throttle to run at 3600 RPM so they don't idle. So you don't really need that. Some carburetors have like a rubbery pilot jet that you have to push in, and this screw will actually help hold that in. But this one has a metal one, so you could probably even leave that out. It wouldn't need it. So now we'll just go down here. I'll go ahead and just spray off the end of this needle. Make sure it's good and clean. And then, well, I dropped it off there. Alright, so our needle has to just go back in here. Like so. And it hangs. And it goes up and down like so. Now we'll take our little pin and we'll route that up through here and route it through the other side. And that pin just floats in there, but the bowl, when it goes on there, keeps it from coming out. So now we have to put in our main jet. No, that's in there. This gasket looks perfectly good. It's supposed to go down in here first. Like so. Put back in this. A lot of times this will be rusty and corroded too, but it's perfectly good and clean. Alright. Now we'll just put this is your screw that you use to drain the fuel bowl. So you loosen that screw and it lets the fuel out of the fuel bowl right there if you need to drain it. I normally just run them till they're empty. And when they run out of gas, when you shut the fuel off and they run till the bowls are empty, you have to flip that choke at the last minute too, to make sure that you get every last little drop of gas out. But that looks pretty good. Now what I have to worry about is fuel line. But a lot of times you probably could do this with the fuel bowl still off, but you can put a piece of fuel line on there. If you blow on it this way with the bowl down, you should be able to blow through it. When you turn it upside down, you should not. Here, I'll take this fuel bowl back off so you can see. Okay, so this is down. Here, it doesn't come out. You go like this, and you can blow through it. So if you're blowing through this and you hear some noise or you feel some pressure going out of it, it is not good. Alright, the rain's starting to come down out there, but I'm just going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit before I put it back together, because I think this one's going to run just great. Generator finally found itself a good home. Somebody will take care of it. Off the bottom of it too. Okay, that's pretty good. Now we just want to make sure this guy right here is tight. Good and snug so that that won't leak. Put 2 of those bolts in first. Okay. Now we can put our control panel back on the front of it here. Like so. This control panel needs a little wiping off too. There we go. I'll get it eventually. There, okay. Now we just gotta hook the spring on. There we go. Yep, that's perfect. Looks like it's about the same size. Yeah, a little WD-40 on it. So just hope we go in there easier. We'll put our hose clamp on it. Slide that up on there. There we go. And now we just have to run that down here to the carburetor. So about right there. Put this hose clamp on. Spray a little WD-40 in it. I'll put this fuel line on. This one went on. Maybe I did one too far. Okay. Put good there. Alright. Now we're ready to put this back on. We'll go ahead and get our breather hose back here on. I'll just spray a little WD-40 around it. I'll help it go in. Come on. Okay. Now we're ready to tighten it. We'll go ahead and clean this out. And then that goes in here. And our air filter looks pretty good. I do have some more of those air filters. They take the same air filter as my other one that I got some for. If I remember right, this is kind of a pain in the butt to get it lined up and going in there the right way. There we go. There we go. There we go. And now we'll check the oil in it here. Oil looks and feels brand new. Perfect. It is dripping. It is full. You can tell it's only got 3/10 of an hour on it. And my oil's like brand spanking new. Let me wipe this down. I spilled a bunch of it. Ever since they come out with them gas cans with those weird nozzles that you have to throw away, they just make you spill gas everywhere. Okay. Let me turn the choke on now. There she is. She's running my shed. All the lights. She's still pulling 120 volts according to that meter. She's running good. I'm going to let her run for a while. Alright, there we go. I ran her for a good 20 minutes. Ran the shed. The freezer over here actually kicked on. It sagged a little bit, but it picked right back up and ran it. So, yeah, I'm real happy. So hopefully that'll show you all you do not have to spend a whole bunch of money to be a little prepared. You know, you can run a refrigerator and a couple of lights and a fan off of that in a power outage and survive, right? For $50 and a little time, a little bit of carb cleaning, and a piece of fuel line. I see generators like that all the time on Facebook Marketplace. I even seen like 5 kilowatt generators. They only want $85 for them. And if you can fix them, you're good to go. I mean, and you can buy like a carburetor. You can buy a whole new carburetor for that generator for like $15. So you can get the parts really cheap and fix them and make them run and make them work. So now I guess I have a backup generator to my other generator, but that's good because when there's a major power outage or a storm, somebody always wants to borrow a generator. Well, now I have another one I could lend them. And it'd be nice if my friends would just spend $50 and buy their own, but nobody thinks about the power being out and losing all their food and all this until the power actually goes out and they're losing all their food and they're like, oh, what are we gonna do? You know, just people just by their nature are not prepared. They're busy dealing with the immediate problems. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.